What? There we go. Hey, Jerry, can you hear me? Jerry, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. If you can, you're on mute. Let's see. Christine, can you hear me? All right, cool. All right, excellent.
I'm on my phone, so it might take me a while to get this figured out. Hopefully I don't.
You're good. We can see, we can see, we can hear you. You're good.
All
Looks like
right.
you're in your trunk.
You're in the back, you're in the front of your back of your car, yeah. There's the steering wheel. There's the steering wheel. There it is.
We just got done planting the last of the plants from the Earth Day thing because it was storming on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a little hotter than I thought.
It's actually very warm out right now, and
Yeah.
today walking over here,
Like-
it was the first time I've been outside, and it's so
It's
nice out.
sunny out and that's actually a nice
Yeah.
day, you know, it's like days.
And we were parking, or the last plants went into the Country Inn and Suites parking lot, and in their like little island median things, whatever, that are full of rock. So it was just first we had to remove the rock.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
Oh, next year we're gonna say it has to be prepared before we get there.
Yeah, there we go. Good call. Where's Teresa? Steve, Colleen, and there's Colleen right there. Now we just need Betsy. And there we go. Hello, Alder, how are you?
Hello, I'm well.
Just waiting for Betsy to hop on and we're off to the races here, so. Hi, Colleen.
Welcome home.
Officially 3:59. I can't yell at her yet, so.
Eric came in.
Oh, that's Eric. He's one of our applicants. All right, there we go. Still just waiting for Betsy. Okay. It's hard to get a quorum with this crew, man. So we might make it back to Laney getting back here if we were careful. He's only got a couple more days, he'll be back. Let's see, hop on here. Send her an email, see if she's coming. And I know, I think Jerry has to go right away, so I'd like to do his first, the Rock and Brews Marathon first if we could.
Yep.
Okay, Jerry, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Not too bad. As soon as I get my third commission member here, we're off to the races here.
Okay.
So, hey, there she is, perfect. Right. All right, Betsy, we got you on. There she is. All right, excellent. All right, I think we got everybody. So I'll go ahead and I'll just call it. We don't really officially have our chair. I guess I'll just call the meeting to order if everybody's okay with that. I think we want to just tee up Jerry, if we can, just to kind of answer any questions. I think we left off last time reviewing applications. We had some questions for Jerry. I think he's actually emailed responses. Hopefully you guys have seen those, but if you want to ask him any questions, he is on and available. This is for the Rock and Brews Marathon application. So any commissioners have any other questions for him right now?
Neil, I might have some questions. I just want to jump to that point in the agenda packet. I'm sorry, just need a moment here.
Oh, that's okay. And we did, I think I did forward the email of the questions that we didn't want to send him, and so hopefully you guys did receive that as
Okay.
well, so.
Got it. Any chance, Neil, do you just have it off the top of your head what page of the packet this is on?
Hold on, what we see
Probably by
here.
the
I
time
have it
we
on
answer, I'll
page
find it.
48 is
Thank
what I
you.
have.
Thank you.
Yep. Questions we had specifically were, let me see if I'll bring that one up.
I do have a question.
Okay,
And I jotted this down, and I've seen this on a number of applications, and so I've just sort of become aware of maybe a larger gap in my understanding, because this is not unique to this particular application. But on the second page of the City of Monona's application, right at the top, it asks if the project or event has any sponsorships with local hotels. And more than a few of the applicants say, no, they do not. And so maybe I don't understand, what exactly does it mean to have a sponsorship with a hotel?
yeah, we're just looking to see if they have a pre-existing relationship, Alder, with one of any of the local hotels. So yeah, they are like, say, if they designated the Abbott Hotel as the official hotel of this race.
I see.
So we're just looking to see if there's anything existing, because obviously one of the things we're looking at funding is a general sponsorship of all the hotels.
Yes.
So we're just trying to see if there's an existing relationship that they already have accounted for in their application.
So the word sponsorship is very, that word has meaning. It's not just, are you advertising the hotels?
It's
That's a
yeah,
different-
if there's a
that's a
formal
very different-
relationship, yep,
Okay,
if there's a
got
formal
it.
relationship with one of the hotels, absolutely.
Sweet.
Could it also mean that they have like blocks of rooms set aside? Because I'm
Yep.
agreeing with you. I think, Teresa, that sponsorship might not be the correct term there, but
Yeah.
it's getting at the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
it's probably more like a partnership than a sponsorship.
Okay. So, because I do see that you are promoting the local hotels through your website, it's just that you don't necessarily have a sponsorship with any one of those in particular, which seems, it doesn't seem to, or should it? I mean, if it is on our application, I imagine that we have it on the application for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, Alder. I mean, so we're in a situation that if they're not anything, we're identifying just a general part, we're gonna, if we as the commission, is a loose we, that we're gonna be giving them funding to essentially to advertise all the hotels. We wanna know if they already have an existing relationship in place with one of the hotels that could cause a conflict with that, essentially. So that's just, it's all we're just trying to make sure, if there's, just to find out if there's an existing business relationship with any of the existing hotels.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So I was just looking at the staff recommendations, and for this particular one, so the funding request in the application is 30,000, but the staff recommendation is 14,000. Can I ask what the discrepancy is?
And I think we'll bring that application up, because I think we looked specifically at the marketing, and we also tried to tie it in and make it similar to what the other races we're doing with. So we kind of tried to keep it in line with them. They are projecting more hotel stays than the other races, so we did go a little higher. I think the other ones, we were in the $11,000 area, I think, for the other hotels. But again, this is simply, it's a situation where, I think you certainly addressed the question to Jerry and folks, they're dealing with increasing costs related to the actual monitoring of the race. So while we're not looking at, we can't directly pay for some of the things that we have maybe looked at in the past, we're obviously looking, we can adjust that sponsorship level to help them offset those costs. So similarly to what we've done there. So we looked very strictly, as we have done with the other ones, really tied it more towards the clearly identified marketing costs. However, we always have the ability to do an increased sponsorship level related to advertising the hotels, which in this case certainly would be comfortable doing because they're already advertising the hotels already. So we're already giving them the benefit of the doubt because they're already advertising those hotels as part of their event information.
And can we approve the 14,000, or would we need to do would we need to bifurcate it into the sponsorship funding?
I would probably recommend adding it, like, just making a specific motion to whatever level you guys are comfortable at, Colleen, and then you can leave it up to staff to break it out,
Okay,
however we think, if that's okay.
yep.
I mean,
sorry.
of all the events, I mean, a marathon that draws people in from out of town, athletes who need time to recover, athletes who need time to come in and adapt before they run, I mean, I think a marathon is exactly what
Yeah.
the type of event that brings people into hotels.
Yeah, the
More
hotel
than- more
benefit
than
is, is absolutely clear, Alder. Yeah, keeping in mind, even they're even coming out to run the course in advance, so there could
Exactly.
be even hotel stays in advance of the event as well. Absolutely.
Exactly. And so the staff recommendation I'm looking at on page 11, I'm sorry, wrong line. Rock and Brews. Okay, so we've got a request for 30 and a total recommendation of 14.
Yeah, and I said, when we kept it in there, simply trying to keep it in line with some of the other races we're looking at, but I would point out that the overnight stays projected for this one are higher. So certainly staff would have no problem with raising that level even up to the full 30,000. If there's comfort level with the commission.
And can I just,
When I look at the other events like Loop the Lake, which are which the recommendation is to fund at the requested level, I don't think Loop the Lake is a heads in bed event compared to this one. So I'm very comfortable staffing at a higher level. And I'm not really comfortable staffing, well, I'll leave that for a later conversation, so.
So we would just need a motion at whatever level the commission would be comfortable with. And like I said, staff is fine taking it up to 30 if that's where we're at.
You know, I've been making motions all along. Am I okay as the alder
Yeah.
for me to be making out motions?
Absolutely, you're a member of the commission.
I
Alder,
mean,
absolutely.
nothing like, asking a year in whether all the things I've been doing so far are within my lane, but.
Alder, we would tell you if there was a problem, trust
All
me.
right,
Well, it
I
always
will-
requires a second, so.
Yep.
true. I move to increase the funding amount to the full level of 30,000.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that one? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, approved 3-0. Jerry, we'll get you a grant contract here in the next couple days.
all right, thank you guys for your time.
All right, thanks you
Have a
guys.
great day. Yep, bye-bye.
All right, there's another one down. Let's see, I think we have Eric here for the Monona Community Festival. If we could go ahead and take him, that would be great.
Hey, folks. Do you want me to answer the questions that Neil, you sent over to me earlier?
That would,
starting
we'd
spot?
like to, what's the commission's preference? So again, we emailed those similar questions that we had for Eric. We emailed those. I guess just probably have him address those.
I would like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Eric, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me here. So to start off, the Monona Festival is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. We've been one for, I think, 5 or 6, actually no, 7 or 8 years now. The COVID years mix up the total. So we've been doing that for a while. In terms of tracking the hotel stays, this is one of the biggest challenges in terms of just tracking how many people come to the festival. It's hard, it's nebulous. People are coming from all over. We are actually, something we've been working with the last couple of years is trying to connect more with the hotels. Avid is one of them that we've been talking with more recently to try and do a little bit of a special. We know we've got some athletic events that are bringing people in, but just trying to work with them to track things. The tough part is we don't know about the family that, they always come into Monona because, their parents live here, or their grandparents live here, and they're staying at the hotel instead of staying with them. So it's a little bit difficult to track. But I think we can talk more with the hotel about looking at what the hotels in Monona about, do we see additional spikes, things like that over the 4th of July holiday, which I think there probably is, but something we could definitely talk with them more about, and then actually have that data for you folks to reference in the future.
And Eric, how would you be able to tell, even if there was a spike over July 4th, there are many events around Monona. on July 4th. So how would you be able to attribute it to the festival? Or is that even possible? Because even if they did attend the festival, are they here for the festival kind of thing?
Right. And I think that's the tough part is, it might be they're here for the whole, a whole weekend, but the festival is just a part of it. And then they're doing, the myriad of other activities, that are happening around town. One of the things that we've tried to do in the past is with some of the athletic events, the Strongman in particular is offering, just like if you're hosting an event at the hotel, there's a discount code type, something like that. One of the things we talked about doing is do we, expand that to, hey, friends and family are coming into Monona. Hey, check out one of our hotels. This is just for anyone, not specifically for an event. So something we've kind of thrown around, but we've not, reached out and floated that idea with the hotels yet to see, is that something they would even offer, to do a group discount or something like that, or at least some sort of promo code, obviously that hits their bottom line as well. So I think we're open to different ways that we can explore that. But yeah, that's always the difficult part is you don't know if they're here just in general or coming to our festival, or if the festival is just one part of what they're here for over that weekend.
Sure.
Eric-
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Colleen.
No, I don't have a.
Eric, I was just wondering, like the Strongman event, for example, since it was brought up, or even the wife carry, things like that. Is there sort of like a culture of people that travel around the Midwest, like entering these sorts of events? I know I was involved years ago in a chili cook-off. Blew my mind how far away people traveled just to enter their chili. People drove up from Texas just to enter their chili. Like, what the heck? So I just don't know. I mean, again, I'm thinking this is a really good heads in bed type of thing, but I don't know. Could you just explain a little bit more about how those events kind of work?
Sure. Yeah, great question. And you are 100% right. There are little communities that travel around with all of these. From the Strongman is probably the biggest one, where I think only a third of the people that are members that are participating, and there's 50 people that are participating, only a third of them are even from the Dane County area. Most of them are coming from all over the Midwest and even farther. So and they're bringing their whole families there.
Yes.
If anyone's been there the last couple of years, you see there's a lot of folks there that are there to support them. So that's got probably the largest community of people who are coming in. The Wife Carry Championship, that's we've had people from California, from New York, from Florida, all over come into here just to participate because they heard about it online. So we've got a lot of people, probably about half of the attendees are from right here in the Madison area. The other half are coming from all over. Even things like our the cornhole competition we've been doing the last couple of years. We have people driving up from Iowa and Illinois. We've had a couple people from Minnesota come in as well. So even things like that you wouldn't expect, they're drawing people in just because it's a fun activity. It is that little circuit, that little network of people that are following these events. So yeah, and that's something that we can, and we've worked on tracking more of that in the past, and something we can definitely, work on as well. I think, with getting this grant, something we would definitely, put more into getting that data together is all these people are signing up, so we can very easily put together, here's all the people that didn't come in from the Madison area, things like that, so we can get a better idea of who's coming in. And hopefully we could try and track that to what hotel they're at, but at least get an idea of what people were coming in. Hopefully they're staying in hotels in Monona.
So interesting.
Yeah, things you wouldn't think that people would travel and spend multiple days to go and do, but
they do.
They love it.
Yeah.
If there aren't any more questions, just maybe to give Teresa a break, I would move to go for the full amount. Just I think the marketing is good. It seems like you're making a really good faith effort to work with partners and with the hotels. So I move to fill the full $15,000.
I can second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that one? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Thanks, Eric.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll get you a grant agreement this week.
Sounds good. And if anyone is around on the 3rd and 4th, more than welcome down, sling some beer and whatnot. It's going to be great. You can maybe enjoy one as well while you're serving and selling tickets. So
I just need a husband to carry me, I guess.
there you go. Well, we got a golf cart. We can just drive you around. So
Even better. That's right. All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, let's see, we want to go on, jump on with Christine, let's do, I think we have. Let's see, I'm gonna do, yeah, let's go back, I guess let's circle back to the Discover Monona applications. I guess let's do, like, can we do, I guess Loop the Lake and Make Music Monona are the two, can we do those two first? I think those are a little bit more easier ones to discuss.
Okay.
So you just want to have Christine do a quick overview of those two?
So Loop the Lake, I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. They've been doing it for several years. We did a smaller one ourselves last year, like a month after they had done theirs. And we were really focusing on all ages, all abilities, so bringing in adaptive cycles and things like that. So after our event last year, we contacted Clean Lakes and we decided to lump them all in together. And it's actually going to be like a community party around the lake. So this year, the focus isn't so much on actually doing the race, but just doing a ride and then getting off at several of the parks around the lake. So we are doing 3 parks in Monona, and I think that they have at least 4, if not 5 of the parks on the Madison side. So it's everything from like, I think is it Hudson Park, where they have the effigy mounds. So there's a student group from Ho Chunk Nation and the UW-Madison that they'll be there with as docents giving tours to people who want to do that. We have karaoke at one. We're going to have the adaptive cycle and the local salsa band at another of the parks. And then at the third park, we're looking at doing some more kids activities with a multicultural community group to try to bring in some diversity. And we're working with B-Cycle to try to get some free bike rides for those kind of people that might not have their own bikes, things like that. We're also working with a group from Hudson that's coming down. So we've already booked 8 hotel nights for that group for this event, and they're bringing down other people. So it doesn't seem like it would be something where people would come from out of town, but this is, they're really putting a lot of money into marketing it this year and promoting it as more than just a bike event, and promoting it, we're promoting it especially as a biking for all abilities. So we're reaching out to other organizations around the state to bring in their adaptive bikes and things like that.
I have a question, not to you, Christine, necessarily, but to the other commissioners, because I'm a new commissioner. And I've been getting the understanding that, you know, we're really charged with heads and beds in order to continue the process of promoting, but hotel stays. But is it also our mission to just bring events like this to the community, where maybe we'd get Madison folks visiting Monona and understanding what's there for them? Or is it really just truly we need to understand how many people are going to get hotel stays?
My understanding is that it's not just heads and beds. Like, that's a big consideration. Obviously, that's what funds this commission in the first place. So it's, you know, a healthy pot of money that we can then, you know, fund more events. But I also think we should consider the value of these events bring to the community. That's my understanding anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
The statute itself, I think, is pretty broad.
Okay.
Question for Christine. On page 36, where it talks about media targets, I know you're in your car. That's just, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing, fitting it all in the way you do. And I just noticed under media targets, it says exclusively KOW, which to me, that means Madison. I could be wrong. And a lot of the radio is, I don't know how far outside Madison the media targets reach. I don't know how.
So
Would you say to that?
somewhere on here is, so this is actually from the Loop the Lake Commission, the Clean Lakes Alliance. They put this
Okay.
together. KOW is Madison, but they have sister stations around the state and even into like Minnesota and I think Iowa. So I know when I did something for our self-discovery weekend, we recorded it at the one in Madison, but they played it at all their
Oh.
sister stations.
Nice.
I guess that's how they get around cutting all the journalism budgets. But anyway, so that's that.
And it also does talk about how the event is being marketed to a wide audience of bike enthusiasts. So that's Milwaukee, Chicago, Iowa, Twin Cities. So that's
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. Yep. And 2,000 people. It's a big deal.
Yeah. They had a little over 14, I guess, 1,400 last year that had actually registered and paid. So they're pretty comfortable with getting the 2,000 registered. Plus, we're giving away tickets to a lot of the groups that will come in, especially like the Adaptive Cycle that are coming from Hudson. We're giving them like 10 free registrations for any of their people that want to do the loop and get a t-shirt.
That's fantastic. I'm guilty of showing up without registering and just doing it. I know
You
that
just
happens.
won't get a t-shirt, but you're more than welcome to show up this
Yeah.
year.
So, and I know these are always a guess, but 40 hotel stays, it sounds low. Do you know how you came up with that number?
I just, I have no idea at all. And I know that it's all around Madison and Monona. But like I said, we're especially the like MESBA side of it, Discover Monona side of it, when we're doing our individual promotions, we're promoting the hotels like Avid, and actually Country Inn and Suites are going to have their own station for B-Cycle. So B-Cycle is going to really up their stock in Monona for the weekend. So we're promoting that as like, stay at this hotel and your bike will be right there for you, like, register and get your bike all at one time type of thing. I just put 40 down because honestly, I have no idea. But like I said, we already have 8 booked, so we're on our way. And we do have a link with Country Inn and Suites that can be tracked. So we'll be able to tell a little bit better, at least with one of the hotels.
How many adapted cycles did you say would be there?
So the group in Hudson is bringing down 6, and then we haven't got. Well, Laura's working on the confirmation, so maybe she has. But the last time I spoke to her, she's working on 3 other groups in the area. One's like in the Fox City area. One is, I think another one is way up north, and then I think one is like in Milwaukee.
It's just fantastic. I mean, any DEIB plan has to include ADA. It's fabulous. Okay. Yeah, maybe 40 hotel stays is low. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
if
for the
you're already
record, we
the way
won't penalize anyone if they go above their number.
How about I make a motion? I would support the staff recommended amount of 22,000 on this one.
Yeah, I would as well. I don't want to put you in the spot, Teresa, but I know you were a little concerned about the amount versus the heads of beds.
I guess I was just thinking, when I compared it to the marathon, if we weren't going to
Right.
fund the marathon fully, why would we, to me, I was just thinking, okay, let's be equal and not fund anyone fully, but well, I don't know. That was not the way to go either, but I am fully fine with fully funding this.
I
event.
think sometimes it matters to what their need is. Like
Yeah.
if they're only needing X number of dollars and we can fully support that, then why
Why
wouldn't we?
yeah.
Versus another, if it was the reverse, like they had a smaller budget and this would be covering the whole thing, then
Yeah, that's what certainly staff would say the financial need would be kind of the other aspect to balance with the actual hotel demands as well. So it's there, as much as we'd love to say we fund each of these events at $500 a hotel
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah.
And it was just a
Right.
formula, and that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the scale of the events is too different and it just doesn't work, so.
And I
Well,
guess
That's
my
why-
rationale too.
That's why we have a commission like you guys to help us ferret through these things, so.
I think my rationale too was with the knowledge that I can veer away from heads and beds as a
Yes.
decision maker. Like
Yeah.
as a born and raised Madisonian, I feel like this is a thing that would bring me to Monona if it weren't for the nature center, of course. But
Yeah, I think from staff standpoint, as long as I think the heads and beds is the kind of the primary.
Yeah.
Thing that's evaluated, and then those other things as secondary, the need, the overall impact of just general economic development impact. If those
Yes,
things can all be considered in the context of what the hotel
Yes.
impact would be, then I think we're absolutely fine with that.
and it all starts with making people aware of what we've got, and what better way to do that than when you're on a bicycle. It's great. All right. So
I
do
think
we
we have
need
it
a
all.
vote?
Yep, we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
I
opposed? Any opposed? All right, that one is approved. Then I think let's do the what was this one? It was it's Make Music Monona one application, if we could. Christine, you want to give us a quick overview on that one?
Yep. That one is it's actually an international event that happens every 21st of June, so on the longest day of the year. And it was started in France. So this year, I believe Madison, Monona, there are like 4 communities in Dane County that are doing it. Wisconsin actually has the most communities of like any other state in the US, but also like state, province, whatever, in any of the other countries. So Wisconsin's at the top for that. But basically what it is we pay the $350 to be in their group, and then we get a website where musicians can go on saying we're willing to play that day for free. And then locations can go on and say, I'm willing to host someone at this time or for this long. I have electricity, whatever. So we're trying to also help facilitate connecting people, but we're hoping that the website will work and people will connect on their own. So it's not so much work for us. But right now, I think we have 5 or 6 sites committed so far, and with musicians. We have like the one city school is going to have their kids do something. Yeah, so we're just trying to get the word out there. And it's also the second to the last day of the wood carving festival, and all of the carvers are going to be, I mean, most of the carvers are artistic and play musical instruments anyway, so they're kind of going to end the day with a big festival concert type of thing at San Damiano. So we're hooking this into the wood carving festival as well to try to do the heads and beds, but also just to kind of promote the city of Madison, or city of Monona, sorry, and that, like the culture we have here and the love of music and arts and things like that.
Questions for Christine? This was the ask was for 2,800, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like a low ask for what is kind of a little bit PR, a little bit kind of piggybacking on making an event already happening a little better and just showing off Monona. I would move to fund the full request. I have 2,750. Or sorry, 2,750.
mm-hmm. I would second that.
Any other discussion on that one? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed? All right, that's approved 3-0. Okay. Now let's go to take a look at, let's see, I think let's take on the Destination Madison Partnership application. I think I did send I did copy the commission on communication I had with Missy on that one specifically. I think at least general conversation I've had with certainly with Christine, and I believe Alder Rademacher and I talked about this a little bit as well. Think like the idea of investigating and kind of beginning that, maybe the courtship a little bit with Destination Madison and kind of see how things go. I think we probably, instead of the city taking on that application, maybe asking Discover Monona to take on that, and then do it at the entry level of $10,000 to kind of see. That would still give us at least the initial relationship, and I still have the ability to pay to play for specific opportunities as we go forward. We figure that's kind of maybe the first step to seeing how things go, and if we get good positive feedback on it, the commission can always expand on that a little later.
Yeah, because I think this is where I had to leave off last time. So you're
Mhm.
suggesting that the grantee is changing? I missed that part. Will you-
Yes. Yes, that's absolutely correct, Betsy. That was actually, I think, the Parks Department is certainly looking at it in terms of promoting a lot of the park facilities. And we've got some ideas on, I think, how we can do that in conjunction with, again, with the hotel stays. That we've got some abilities to kind of do some of those things in the other application. This was, certainly the full recommendation that was made is being a full participant with Destination Madison. There are definitely some involvement benefits to doing that. I'm just not sure if we're just not quite sure if we're there yet to jump in and do that. So I think this will be a good kind of first step to kind of see how things go. Hopefully there's a couple of other things that we're interested in participating in, that because we have this initial relationship, we'll still get the ability to bring something forward to this commission saying, hey, we've got a great promotional opportunity they're doing with Travel Wisconsin, or they're doing this really great thing with another entity or another event that's coming here. We'd like you guys to participate and support that. We can bring a separate application for this forward to the commission at that time for those items.
So then the funding would actually go to who?
To Destination Madison, to MESBA would be the coordinating entity with that one.
Okay, so MESBA, and then you're saying that MESBA would do the cooperation with parks to make sure they get the promotion that they.
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct. And I think what we're looking at doing, and what we get into the other application a little bit, is actually asking Christine and Missy, and maybe me get involved and actually set up kind of what that marketing plan would look like. So what are the key things we really want to get out there, both in terms of our city facilities, in terms of doing them and kind of, again, looping them in with the hotel marketing to the extent that we can, and figuring out how to make that, kind of more in line with what we've been looking at for other marketing opportunities. So we agree, like certainly the ice rink is certainly the big one that's going to attract a lot of folks. That's actually probably the easiest one, I think, to actually kind of link up with the hotels and people who are staying here. Hey, come on down and check out this great facility. Do some very targeted with that. So hopefully you can get the hotels actually marketing that facility for us, because they can see it as an amenity that they can send their people who are staying there. So it's just kind of coming at it a little bit of a different angle than just solely just the city marketing those facilities. So we're actually doing it through our hotels. So
Yeah, I'm in support.
is-
Sorry, go ahead.
Is Parks and Rec submitting a request at all in that case? Or is it just now MESBA who will have the Destination Madison?
for this particular race, the Destination Madison, this will be coordinated through MESBA, but the parks facilities will be coordinated as part of that. But MESBA
Yes.
will be the granting agency.
Yes, so Missy doesn't have to spend her time marketing when Christine is the marketing expert. Why should Missy have to do that sort of work?
Yeah, and obviously
Yes.
we're gonna make sure that obviously they need resources to do that, so we're sending the funding that way. Certainly
Yes.
staff is still gonna need to be involved, make sure we're
Yeah,
getting the
yeah, yeah.
marketing that we want for that. So it's not, just to be clear, Missy's not gonna not have to be involved. There still will be
Right.
conversations there.
Right, but Missy's gonna be able to lean on, MESBA to do marketing of the ice rink and such.
And I
Okay.
think if we have that marketing plan in terms of what our goals and objectives and where we want to see things, that's our list we'll be able to check back with and make sure we're getting the marketing that we want to see.
So on the list on page 11, I'm seeing Destination Madison under Discover Monona for 25,000, and then Monona Parks and Rec, which is also a Destination Madison application for 10,000. So are we saying that the Parks and Rec goes away and we go 25 on? I mean,
Yeah, just to be clear, so yeah, we're moving the applicant over to MESBA being the coordinating entity with Destination Madison. So our tourism entity will be working with Destination Madison. We're recommending participating at the $10,000 level that they had there. So there will not be a direct Parks and Rec involvement from a funding standpoint at that point. So there was no so that originally we were looking at, originally staff had recommended adjusting it to the 25 down from the larger ask, which was 17% of the 70%, which is around $63,000 originally. So we had so our 25 was, that was our first staff recommendation. But then after speaking with Christine and Missy, we're kind of adjusting it now to say, let's get it down to the base level marketing aspect. Let's do it through Discover Monona as our tourism entity, but then let's coordinate on getting our park facilities marketed as part of that marketing effort.
Teresa, do
money-
you have the spreadsheet that Neil sent more recently with the yellow highlights on it? Because that is what's helping me currently.
I can fire that up here and share that here. Hold on here.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. 'Cause when I
Just
just
ask-
did it-
Can I ask a question?
That's
Yeah.
what she's asking, I think,
Let's see.
is this box here.
Let's see, okay.
Christine, you had a question?
Yeah, which one?
Yeah. So the 10,000 is like exactly what we have to pay them just for the partnership.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do any pay for play or anything like that, that'd have to be additional. So would I have to come back next quarter to get that?
If there was something specific that came up, we'd have to put a separate request in. If it was time sensitive, we could always have another meeting, but yeah, it would require an additional application for funding.
I was gonna put it in the chat, but it looks like chat's not
Oh,
available to me.
I don't even know if I know how to turn that on, Betsy, to be honest with you.
Sure, that's all right. I'm just gonna then look to see when the email came in yesterday at 11:25 a.m. from Neil.
Oh, in terms of my spreadsheet, the one with the highlights,
Spreadsheet, yeah.
I think I could share that one. Hold on, let me see here. If I can grab that one here. This one here. Folks can see that.
Yeah, this is kind of adding to my confusion, actually.
Oh.
So you should just be looking at this one now, Alder.
Yep.
Yeah,
Technically,
Yeah.
the one up above, the one that doesn't have a number on it.
So actually, yeah, line 14 should not be there then, right?
No,
That's-
line 14 is a separate application,
yes,
Same.
this does not include the Destination Madison stuff.
but
Yeah.
in my spreadsheet, it does include 10,000 for the paid to play marketing. That would go directly through, but I feel like that got pulled out now,
Yeah.
possibly.
We're moving that towards more of this, that's inside this 30,000
Oh,
here.
I
Yeah,
had that in there originally, which
Yeah.
is what I think is confusing.
Yes, that is.
yeah, the answer, I'd say my short answer to that is that's why we're making kind of both those funding recommendations on approval of a marketing plan, specifically and not how those dollars would be invested.
So it sounds like to me that I'm not talking to Destination Madison at all, and this funding that was going to the paid to play is getting taken out completely. So then we're just doing this $10,000 overall.
Yeah, that's $10,000 is for the Destination Madison partnership. And
So, My recommendation then is that I can make a motion that we approve the $10,000 for MESBA to join Destination Madison. And then I think that the discussion will have, like, if we approve that or not, then there will need to be some clarification on what is happening with the original Parks and Rec proposal.
Yeah,
That
and we
sounds
can,
good.
and we can talk about that application as well, just like get a little bit more detail on that one after this one, so. But happy to do both, so.
So I second that motion.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, I mean, isn't, I don't know how to say this. I feel uncomfortable. So if any City of Monona department, I mean, is a City of Monona department eligible, period, for tourism money? It's like we're not allowed to use this money for operating expenses. It's specifically intended to be used. It feels like we're keeping the money that we're not supposed to be keeping, but maybe I'm not
In the city, you
understanding how
mean?
that works. I can
It-
understand how, like, if MESBA is the marketing, is the entity that the city contracts with, MESBA could market city activities on behalf of the city. I don't know.
And I think in this particular case, that's what's happening for this 10,000 going now to MESBA. But I think the other grant is where your question will
Okay,
become
be
much more
answered. Okay,
valid.
okay.
Yep. No, that's absolutely correct, Betsy. That's exactly how staff is, or how I'm looking at breaking those up right now.
Okay.
So Destination Madison it's one thing, and then there's a separate request that we can look at that will be essentially between MESBA and Parks for some marketing things that we want to do. And I can explain that one when we get to that one, so.
Does it make sense to give MESBA more money than Parks? Why are we giving, I'm sorry, I just,
But here, Alder, I want you just, for this one, let's just focus on just this Destination Madison partnership.
Right,
That's
right.
all this one is for.
all
That's
right,
just $10,000.
yeah, I shouldn't be
Yep.
comparing it. Okay,
Yeah, well, then I'll gladly explain what we're thinking
Okay.
on that next one. Yeah, absolutely, so.
Okay. Christine mentioned something that if we go at the 10, oh, forget it. Let's just go.
So we'll make sure you guys are yeah, no,
Well,
you guys, these are good
it was originally-
questions.
Yeah, it was originally 25 and Christine mentioned that if we knock it down to 10, then that forces her to reapply or something like
Well,
that.
we still have to, even at the 25 level, if there were specific events that came up afterward, we would still have
Okay.
to consider payment on those in the
Okay.
future. So. Any other questions on the Destination Madison one? So we have a motion and a second to participate at the, Discover Monona essentially participate with them at the $10,000 level. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one approves. Okay, so now on to the one that's causing everybody questions here. Okay, let's see if we can get this one. So, so essentially we are looking, there's two, actually it's broken up in the spreadsheet that I shared previously. It's broken up into, we made its total recommendation. The original request was $60,000. I've reduced it to $50,000, but it's broken up in the following way. So essentially we would have, $30,000 that I would recommend would still most likely go through Christine and MESBA, but it would be targeted specifically towards marketing of our park facilities and other things in conjunction with how we're doing our overall marketing for our hotels and our overnight stay attractions. So it's to help us send out packages to other events, other things going on. That's going to include our hotels, but it's also going to include these great amenities that we have with our park stuff. So it's kind of a joint shared marketing effort with both of those things included in it. So thinking of something comes up with maybe, I'm just gonna say like the Midwest Horse Fair or like the Ironman Triathlon or something else, or just some other kind of event that way where we can blast all those things out. We know people are gonna be staying in the area. Let's get them to stay here. And one of the reasons you want to stay here, not only are the hotels great, we got all these other cool things you can come do, including these great city facilities. So we're looking at kind of developing a specific marketing strategy on how to do that. And a lot of that focuses on the ice rink. I do think that's our big ticket item for sure. So that'll be really kind of in the November, December timeframe. I think that's what you were talking about, right? For those. So, but there's other facilities, obviously, we can look at other parks we want to do as we go through, and we can include those in that as part of that. So, but we don't have a specific strategy on how exactly we want to do that. So I think that would be kind of a contingency that we would, a condition of approval to say, this is our marketing plan of how we want to do that for the remainder of 24. This is how we want to invest those funds. Now, the other one would be actually a $20,000 contribution specifically to the Parks Department to actually do a wrap on an electric vehicle they're looking at purchasing that actually has either the Discover Monona logo or the hotel specifically on that electric vehicle. That way they'll be using at all the different events to actually service those events. So we literally could be advertising the Discover Monona brand and the actual hotels, depending on what we actually do on that vehicle. So, and it's as part of the variety of whatever events they
Okay.
help out with.
Well, just one more clarifying before we go further. So I'm looking at your highlighted spreadsheet. Are
Mhm.
you talking now about Discover Monona Media Campaign line 6 or Monona Parks and Rec line 14?
I'm on 14.
Okay. And before also clarifying, then what is the difference between line 6 Discover Monona Media Campaign and 14 Monona Parks and Rec? Because I think
That's-
the last time I read through those
Yeah.
full proposals, I was getting my wires crossed.
No, and that's why, Betsy, I think when we made kind of the note and I sent out the email, that's kind of why we need that specific marketing strategy. I think Christina, like the way she's demonstrated, like attached the actual media outlets with their reaches and targets and those kinds of things. We need that similar type of outline plan for both of those different efforts. I think the top one on line 1, I think Christine's already got that in there, and it has most of those items included in there in terms of who the outreach is to, and I think that kind of was included as part of their application. That one has that in there. What we're suggesting is just kind of rolling the Great Outdoors one into that. So combining those two applications into one, that's why it's up to the 62-1. But I think for the bottom one there, so then this would be kind of what is the additional marketing that this one would do, which would certainly include our facilities as park facilities as one key change aspect of some of that. But I think that's gonna have a little bit different audience than just the general. The top one, I think Christina can tell me if I'm wrong, is more of a general outbound kind of, come stay here. This is our overall year-round, all these great things we've got going on. This one is gonna be a little bit more targeted. But I think we do need that specific marketing list to kind of explain how these two are different to avoid duplication unnecessarily.
Yeah, because in my mind, they sound so similar. And we're talking about $100,000 here or more. So I feel like, ooh, are we duplicating efforts here with the funding? And I
Yeah.
guess that's where I'm just asking for clarity.
Yeah, no, and I think that there's right now, and the way it's loose enough that there's certainly a possibility for that. That's why I would certainly make any recommendation on funding subject to a presentation of a coordinated plan between both of those items, almost as one budget that kind of identifies how these funds will be broken up.
Mhm.
And then we can clearly have that. Now, we could bring that back. This committee, I would recommend just, if you just want to let me kind of make that, subject to my okay. If that's so, to make sure that there isn't, to avoid any duplication of investments. But if the commission would like to see that again before you actually approve that, we could actually do that too.
Neil, Missy had a question, I think,
Yeah.
that you may not be able to see.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So this application was not originally intended to be partnered and or paired with Christine and Discover Monona. That recently happened after all of this confusion. I want to clarify that we had and used grant money this past year for almost this exact same plan that we have rolled out right here with the target reach and market and people that we, reached last year. So we did utilize this funds and program to have a marketing campaign that was completely separate of anything that we would have done with operating funds originally. So this allowed us to reach a bigger market and have a better marketing plan than what we originally are allotted within our funds in our budget. So this recently got rolled into MESBA, which I feel like is also adding part confusion as well. Because we were doing our own separate marketing campaign, completely separate from what they were doing, with no coordination at all, that was targeting our facilities and our events that we specifically put on.
And so I
As
think
you
that,
can see, as you can see with all of the events that have come through here today, Monona Parks and Rec is involved in every single one of them. Without Monona Parks and Rec, some of these events would not be happening, which is, I think, also where some of the confusion also lays part in. Because a lot of Christine's events, a lot of the other events are all utilizing our parks and facilities. Which is where the whole blend and the issue of confusion also comes and lies in. So, not to add confusion, but I was trying to clarify how we got to where we are right now. Because I think that's part of the confusion of where it is. So they were intended to be two separate. Well, I would say actually 6 separate applications of what the 5 Christine had and then the 2 I had. And if those numbers aren't correct, sorry, you know,
Close enough, yeah.
close enough on my quick math there. So they were never intended to, I guess, merge until the Destination Madison portion came about on a larger scale marketing campaign, I guess.
Well, I guess I would just add to it that the fact that we've actually contracted with MESBA to be government to actually be our tourism entity and are paying them to do that.
You're
As of
right.
this point now as well. So part of that,
Right.
certainly the drive to do that, to kind of move that and shift that marketing effort over to MESBA, that's coming primarily from me. In terms of, because they are our, now I've seen them as our contracted marketing entity, tourism entity, that's what we're paying them to do, and they're providing those funds. Now, making sure we get that oversight done, so we get it marketed the way we want it. Absolutely, as part of we're gonna still need to be involved in that. And still be, you know, have the commission have some oversight on that, as well as staff. But we think that this is, you know, in terms of, again, to try to avoid the duplication of efforts. That I think is part of the effort. I think having it under one umbrella actually decreases the likelihood of that happening. And if we actually add to it, hey, here's our joint marketing plan of here's how Christine presents, this is exactly how we're gonna do that. Over the schedule, over the year, these media outlets, these are our goals. This is when these are the specific areas we want to, incorporate the marketing of the park facilities and other park events. This is how that's going to work into this, but actually have that as an approvable document. That would be my suggestion to implement to avoid that duplication.
Okay.
Well, I think this is also bringing us back to Teresa's question, which is this commission allowed to fund another city department? And if we are, then that changes the conversation, and then if we aren't, because then the conversation's over.
Yeah, I would say it's a qualified yes. Again, if it's primarily for marketing and tourism related activities, not operations per se, but in terms of promotion, then yes, absolutely. But when you have when you actually have the point of having the contracted tourism entity is to kind of have that separation, to make it a little bit cleaner, to have that kind of required contracted entity to oversee the implementation of those marketing funds.
Okay, so this $62,000 at the top of the grid, that is for this media campaign we went over last time. It also includes the Great Outdoors advertising campaign.
Yes.
We're talking about this 50,000, 30,000 of which is a parks exclusive outreach that we haven't seen yet.
Correct.
And the $20,000 is exclusively for a car wrap.
It's actually that would essentially be, we're treating that like we have done like the hotel sponsorships essentially. So actually including that sponsorship to put that wrap on that with the hotels onto that vehicle that gets used at a variety of events.
That costs $20,000. Wow.
So it's more like, well, depending on, it's probably more in the $5,000 to $8,000 range, but it depends on how we end up doing it in terms of adding the hotels. And so we definitely have, I would say it's an up to number at this point.
Sure. Okay.
I have another question. So for Missy and Christine, is there a timeline here? Like, is there something pressing that would make a decision by the commission necessary immediately at this meeting?
I would say yes, the longer we drag our feet, the longer we have like our summer months coming up, and we have kayak canoe rental programs starting at Schluter that we really want to promo on some of these larger scale markets for those that are looking for outdoor tourism. I would really say if we don't hit the market now running, that we're gonna miss all the summer month promos.
But
Would you agree, Christine?
But wouldn't MESBA be doing all that marketing for you?
I just want to say too, I apologize. I don't know if I got that spreadsheet, but I didn't have time to really look at it. So I don't know, when you're asking me about this timeline, are we just talking about the original, like the 50,000 that would kind of be targeted towards Parks and Rec? Or are you talking about the ones that I put in before?
So I guess right now we've got two more still on the table. It's listed as Discover Monona / media campaign and
Mhm.
Monona Parks and Rec, one for 62,100, one for 50,000. And I guess I'm asking related to just those two to you, Christine, if you feel like you would need a decision on those now,
Did the
or is
Great
this?
Outdoors get put in with the Monona tourism campaign then?
Yeah.
Yes, the media campaign, yes.
Okay, and can I just ask what the total recommended for both of those would be then?
62-1. We essentially just combined the two applications.
Yeah. So that was yeah.
Okay, can I just make a comment
Mhm.
on some of this? Is that allowed?
Yes.
Yeah,
So the 62-1 would basically only cover our exact expenses. Like I sent you the quotes so you can see, and I'm not adding any money or anything. So that would mean that we're doing this for free. And if anything else came up, like we needed to have some video shot or something like that, we'd have to cover that.
yeah, which part are you talking about for free, Christine? I guess I'm not
So
understanding that.
like for the Great Outdoors and the tourism, if you combine just the marketing for that, that's the 62-1. So you're not covering any of the professional services that I put in the budget. You're not covering any of the labor costs I put in the budget.
And there is a pressing timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I've already sent out a check for the Great Outdoors. That's why I put it in as a separate one at the beginning, because we've already committed to that. And if you didn't want to fund the tourism campaign, then, we could figure something else out, but we've already committed to the Great Outdoors and I've already sent them $5,000. So that one is pressing. I do need to know sooner than later, because we'll have to really cut back on the rest of the month if we don't get funding for it.
Well, I guess just from a staff recommendation standpoint, because we weren't sure exactly how that was coordinating with the other one, and then I think with some of the concerns over possible duplication of things, I think that we kind of conservatively dropped that down to that number there, knowing that there was gonna be a second application being considered. So.
Well, and we do have, if you look at the timeline and the marketing plan that I submitted with my application, it does have months specifically for the skate rink. It does have months specifically for Parks and Rec. In fact, June is one of them where one of the spots will specifically be for the canoe and kayak rentals and Parks and Rec. So we did figure those in.
That, Christine, though, was with assumption that we were putting $2,000 into that overall marketing campaign when we originally talked, because we were splitting that cost with Aldo.
With the Great
But now
Outdoors.
it sounds like I'm not I don't know if I'm even getting that money anymore either, so. That was part of my.
So I wonder if the commission would entertain a motion to take the Great Outdoors back out and fully fund that request of $11,000, from which vote I would need to abstain because the Nature Center is involved in that. And then table the other two until we have more clarity and understanding, because I have many more questions that I think need to be answered before I feel comfortable voting on the total sum of $100,000. So knowing that there's a pressing deadline for the Great Outdoors, we could vote on that now and then bring up the other two pending proposals at either our next meeting or in advance of our next meeting, ideally, so that we can get the clarity around those that we need, or that at least that I need.
The only problem with that, Betsy, is obviously with you, if you have to abstain, we lose quorum. We won't be able to vote on that one, so.
Yeah.
But
And that's the other reason why.
Yes, we'd probably just have to hold these, we'd have to hold these then again to another meeting time.
I'd rather just retract my application if it's causing all this confusion, because now it's affecting Christine and what she's planning on doing, and I mean, if it just means no funding, well, we just won't have the marketing to do what we want for the rink, but I don't wanna continue to push this off to, I mean, we're already a month past when it's due, and we have another round coming in August that are due that we're both planning on submitting for. If we're going into June, July for, like, it's pushing it on, and I'm sorry, I'd rather just take it away if it's gonna cause issues.
Well, I would say, Missy, that it's not that it's causing issues. It is that I don't have enough clarity around the marketing contract, the media campaign, and this other proposal to feel comfortable approving over $100,000 of the commission's money. I just don't. And so I'm not suggesting that you need to retract your proposal. I think that just me personally, I'm not understanding the in my mind, there's a third piece of this, which was the contract that we approved the previous quarter. And they all seem redundant to me. And if they're not, then I just need to understand that. And I like I said, it's not that it's an issue, it's that there just needs to be a deeper understanding before I feel comfortable signing off. And that is, I mean, I do, Christine, I'm sorry if like, I want to push for your Outdoor Wisconsin piece, because I understand for sure what situation you're in. It's unfortunate that some of our other commissioners couldn't be here today, and I know Andy was out of town, but we're also missing
Mitchell as well, yeah.
Mitchell, thank you. I know.
Well, I mean, okay, sorry, there's a plane going over, so I'm shutting my, so I just want to know, like, if you put it off to your next meeting, is that July, August
No,
meeting?
No,
Like, I
we'd have
can't
to-
wait
we'd
that
have-
long.
Yeah, we'd have to have something sooner than that.
And what, I mean, I am willing to do whatever you want, come in person, make a presentation, whatever you want, but like,
But we just need to clear, I think, and again, why we kind of made the recommendation, we need to clear, this is the marketing plan for this budget that's allocated. This is exactly, and I think you've already kind of got that established. I think, Christine, for your media, your campaign part on top, we need to add this second part into it with this 30 and 20. To have it all as one master list of this is exactly how those funds are being allocated and how it's going to. I think that's, and then talking to your schedule, your overall schedule, your media outlets, like kind of what you've already done on that first part. We just need to combine and have one, I think, master schedule for all of those items in one shot. I think would commissioners, would that kind of give you what you need to evaluate this if you had that all in one budget with targets, I guess?
Maybe. Where I'm getting stuck is in perhaps a gap in my understanding about the relationship between MESBA and their role in promoting Monona events. And I guess I was coming into this meeting thinking that we should be funding MESBA to promote Parks and Rec events rather than but with that said, Missy, something you said is undeniable. Without Parks and Recs, none of these other things happen. Parks and Rec is completely different in that way from any other city department. I understand that.
Yeah, for me personally, our last meeting, I think I was pretty clear on what the media campaign is. And that makes a lot of sense to me, where the money is going, how we're promoting things. The only confusion I have is that seems very comprehensive of all of Monona offerings and events. So why the extra 30 for Parks and Rec? And I'm not trying to say Parks and Rec shouldn't have outreach money. I just want to know how it's complementary and not redundant.
Did you get, this is like where the breakout money for the like specific, did they get this like?
I think that, yeah.
I'm wondering if you guys have this document that shows like the difference between grant application number 1 and grant number 2, where it lists out Destination Madison, Travel Wisconsin, Midwest Family Broadcasting, Fox 47 Outdoor Campaign, and then just the promotional materials, because it does break out where the money goes. And like Christine doesn't have anything towards Travel Wisconsin in any of her marketing campaigns. So like what we really did at the rink last year is we had paid to play social media with Travel Wisconsin that specifically went through the Lake Ridge Bank River Rink page and tied and connected the two of them. So part of my fear and not resentment, I'm missing the word that I'm stumbling on right now. But part of my fear is if we linked everything through Destination or Discover Monona, that the Lake Ridge Bank River Rink, which is in the winter months specifically what we're trying to market, that its identity gets lost in the brand of this is, you know, just Discover Monona. Which may or may not happen, but like we just have some different, I think, specific goals on what we're trying to accomplish, but we're both trying to accomplish getting people into Monona staying at the hotels. Which is, I think, like our both overall goal. So we have, yes, some dual things, like I have $9,000 in the Destination Madison for like that played to pay marketing because the 10,000 that Christine was gonna get or our joint wasn't gonna cover those paid to play marketing social media packages or the banner ads that we're looking at. So it does all intertwine at the end of the day, but they're also separate, trying to hit different avenues and markets. So I think if you had this little piece and maybe help it you a little bit out, but I don't know if it would or not.
I think we said that, but I can double check, but.
Yeah.
If there's a clarifying document, I feel like I don't have it. So if you could put that in an email real quick, or I don't know.
I don't know if Neil
I'll
can
see if I can find it here.
screen share, I don't know if you got that.
Let's see if I can, my email's not jiving on here. Let me see if I can get it on here, hold on.
Not to add confusion, I do understand how it makes it, how us having some of the same things on our application seem like we're dual efforting. But I think we may be dual efforting in different areas or aspects on what we're trying to accomplish. Like Christine has a lot of those specific events that she's trying to promote and market that she's working really hard on doing. And then we have the space in place that is all held, and then we have the experience that people are, you know, coming and enjoying at the space or place. They're ultimately all staying at a hotel, whether they found it via the facility aspect or they found it via the event aspect. They're staying in the hotel. Christine and I would like to figure out how we can better track the hotel stays, but it's been very difficult working with the hotels on specific ways on how to market or to make that work sometimes. Right, Christine? It's not always as easy as just saying, okay, we're gonna make these blocks and everybody's like, yeah, it takes part on the hotels also to participate with us, which is also part of the issue.
I just want to point out also, you need to have a hotel member on this commission, and the one you have never shows up. And when he does show up, he's not even paying attention. So, you know, could we get a different hotel member to be on this commission? That's a whole another thing, but I just wanted to kind of, every single time he's missing, and then we have to go through all this again. And
Yeah, maybe there could be sort of a attendance policy. After which, you know, certain number of missed meetings, missed votes, yeah. Missing votes is critical.
I do believe I did send that out with the narrative summary email, but I did resend that email just now,
Okay,
so.
great.
hopefully
Just now?
that got
Okay.
through, yep.
And
So-
Neil, do you have that video clip of the 2 spots for May that are going to be starting tomorrow that you could play for everybody so they can see what we're doing?
You know what, I probably do, but right now I don't have access to my email
Okay,
directly through my
okay.
screen. But I will make sure that everybody's got that and send it out for sure.
I can send it. Yeah, if you don't have it, let me know and I'll send it again.
Good.
The first 2 30-second commercials are done, and will be starting tomorrow, and they're very nice. And they talk about staying at the hotels and visiting Monona, and
Perfect, yeah, excellent.
That is one thing it really did
Yeah.
market, that hotel stay at the end was very prominent.
It's again, it's a cheap gimmick, but it officially, that's how we check the box on how we advertise. We can advertise anything we want. If we end up with that as part of the piece, it kind of gives us the green light, I think, to do more of the specific facility stuff, so.
But not every piece has to specifically say stay at the hotel if it's an overall event that you're trying to market in the city at the same time, correct? Like, yes, we want to tie that in, but it doesn't always have to say in the marketing, stay at the hotel.
If you're using the tourism dollars, it kind of needs to have that tie. It doesn't have to be, it has to have that connection.
It had, yes, the
Yeah,
connection, but
yeah.
it doesn't have to always say,
Yeah.
stay at the hotel, like out in your face like that,
Yeah.
correct?
So it sounds like because Betsy asked to abstain, we do have to come together pretty soon and vote again on the outdoor to get a quorum, right?
Yep.
Because
That's
even
critical.
looking at this, it's not, I'm really trying not to pick on Parks and Rec. I think you do amazing work. I'm still not entirely clear on what is different, because I think I'm really clear on the media campaign.
Yes,
Discover Monona. I think we should do the full amount for that.
Yeah.
Above the staff recommendation.
And then, thank you, Colleen. Can I just interject 1 second here?
Of course.
Because thank you for sending the email, Neil. But now I'm still confused because grant number 1 is listing that 63,000 as the piece of the,
That
Was-
one though, that one, this was my original document I sent to Neil, and then
okay,
he decided to change, and number 1 is now MESPA Discover Monona.
It wasn't 63, which is now down to 10.
Yes,
okay, so that one we've already
yeah,
voted on, approved.
Yep.
So then this document you sent with the columns, it needs another column, right? Because then that would be the difference between the two that are still on the table here, the
Right,
60
and
to
it-
10 and the 50.
well,
Yeah,
the 60 that's on grant number 2 is he changed to 50. So the 60 is what he's recommending to go to 50. So these numbers that are in on the bottom have to adjust according to the 50 that.
yeah, and they were all originally going to parks, but we've split it up between MESBA and parks at this point. So we moved more of that money over for the marketing aspect. We're saying those things we were gonna coordinate through Christine to do those things. So we moved those over to her as the tourism entity, but we still had the 20 remaining for the specific vehicle sponsorship.
So
Right,
all,
I did.
is all 30 now just going to her?
Well, and
They were
also the
targeted items,
vehicle
yes.
piece, the vehicle piece is like brand new news, right? Like this
Right,
just came up at this
right.
meeting. So I don't know, that wasn't in anybody's proposal or,
Yeah.
It was an application too, but something happened at last meeting where our Park and Rec second application was not in there. Like the Destination Madison one got entered twice. There was something
Right.
happened where
I do remember that.
where
they were
our
exactly the same. That was
So,
like
yes.
number 1 and 16 were the same.
This number 2 has always been confusion to you all because number 2 application never existed in your packet. So I
Right.
think that's where the original confusion has all laid in.
Okay, and so commissioners, can we move forward with any one of these? There's 2 on the table as far as I see it right now.
So there's 3 on the table if we don't combine the Great Outdoors one, because you can't vote on that. So we could, I would feel comfortable with the media campaign. And then if we have to come back for the Great Outdoors, then we could also come back for a little more clarity on the Parks and Rec.
and Colleen, you would feel comfortable with the media campaign at the full requested amount.
Yes, because I feel like the last meeting, Christine really answered all our questions. on
Yes.
that.
And I think, I mean, it feels like if we rolled that all in together, I wouldn't feel, I'm just thinking about my abstention because it felt like if it's rolled together into one big thing, it was not as obvious that the Nature Center plays a role or is impacted by that. maybe I'm mistaken and just, that was just a thing I was doing in my head. And I also don't want to have to negatively impact Christine's timeline here.
Yeah, I'd say if you want to keep that one separate, there's certainly no problem with doing that.
Yeah,
think-
let's keep, I mean, you mean keep Great Outdoors separate?
If that's, we want to do it to move that, to go ahead and move that forward, certainly
Right.
Yeah.
that's absolutely
Yeah.
within your purview to do that, absolutely.
Yes. Let's do that.
And then Christine, I know you already have money out the door on that, but maybe when Andy is back, because he's just out of town, right? He'll be
I
back.
think he should be
in the-
back this week, I think, so.
Maybe another convening of the commission can wrap that up.
Would
So we
wanna
are
do-
able to vote on the media campaign today?
Yes, I would say yes.
All right.
I think that recommendation, I think Colleen, were you saying the requested amount?
Yeah, so I move to fund $65,200. Is that right, Christine? Okay. Yeah, that's all right.
I'll second.
Yep, 65, yep.
65,200.
Yep, the the requested amount.
Any other discussion on that one? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that one is approved.
And then I would move to table the Monona Parks and Rec application until we have some clarity around that, which could happen within the next couple of days or weeks, so that when we reconvene to address the great outdoors
Mhm.
proposal,
Yeah.
that can all be wrapped up. And then maybe
What exactly are you looking for clarification on this? Because would you like it specifically like laid out month by month? Because we can just give you exactly the schedule we had last year on what we did with the same dollar amount campaign that we are asking for. What information would you like? So you have more clarification.
well, for example, the email that Neil just sent, it had the 2 columns, but one of them is a grant that is already been decided on. So we need, at a minimum, what is going into the other proposal that is still currently on the table? Where are the overlaps, and what gaps is it addressing from the grant that we just now funded? And then I think I still have a further question about the campaign of the marketing contract that we signed and how that differs from these 2 proposals.
You
So
mean
I
the
think we
entity
had all.
contract?
Say again, Christine?
Do you mean the tourism entity contract? Is that what you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't just like $60,000 that you gave us. That covered the Monona guide to have it printed, shipped, and designed. That covered our 10,000, whatever it is, contract with Monona Community Media, and that covers the website and the revisions that we've had to do on the website. So
Okay.
we're spending, I mean, that money's almost all spent.
Yeah,
Well, right, and that's not under question. I think for me, it is more, I'm just not understanding the difference between all of the
Mhm.
requests, including the contract. And I think, yes, Misty, if it was just laid out in a spreadsheet similar to this one, but with all the details, that would help me.
I think I would be looking for something even a little further, even higher level, like to build on what Betsy was saying, like I'm also struggling to understand what is the responsibility of MESBA, what is the responsibility of Parks and Rec? If the city has already contracted with MESBA to do our marketing and promotional campaigns, why is Parks and Rec why do they need to do this work? Why? I mean, I understand that many of these events don't happen without Parks and Rec, and they certainly play a part in all of this. I just don't know how much marketing they should be doing and whether it's duplicating what MESBA is doing. That's all.
I think
So
that
I'm not
Park and-
really looking for details of dollar amounts, and I'm just looking for a very high level understanding of how the two bodies work with each other. That's all.
Park and Rec is just a sliver of what MESBA would be focusing on, like Park and Rec would be focusing on Park and Rec. Like, we would be putting in 100% efforts towards our facilities and our parks versus just being a very small piece of Christine's very full plate and pie.
Right.
Well, then
But-
maybe that could
but
be a
that-
piece that is laid out for us better to understand. So including that in whatever materials are gonna come our way to help us better understand what's going on.
Yeah, just like a definition of roles and responsibilities. That's what I'm trying to understand. Just like we've been talking about the statute, you know, does it have to, we were talking about it at a very high level, does it have to be heads and beds? We kind of had that discussion already today. Now I'm just looking for more of a high level, what are the roles and responsibilities of MESBA when it comes to Park and Rec event promotion?
I honestly would also like that. I mean, I have no problem throwing all of this in or whatever, but I guess I need to understand how much work and how much extra stuff we're taking on, because
Yeah.
my primary job is actually for MESBA. It's not for Discover Monona. And this is all it's taking
Okay.
so much time.
Okay.
So, yes, I would maybe Missy, Neil, and I can get together sometime this week or next week and just kind of like put together a game plan or something, because I'm willing to do whatever. I just need to know what I have to do. Basically,
And
Yeah,
maybe,
Christine, that actually,
yeah.
sorry, Teresa, go ahead.
Good.
It crossed my mind, like, how are you gonna do this?
Yeah, maybe you
You're gonna
don't
need
have
a whole other
staff.
staff person.
Exactly. That's what I was wondering too. So maybe
that's
it's
why we
not,
put in the money for labor, so that I can make Laura be more of a full-time person, but
got it.
not including the labor in most of these of my requests. So that's going to be hard for me to pay her.
Yeah,
That's also what comes in the difference between the tourism entity contract versus the individual grants. That's also the key, because what we're talking about is more operational funds for the tourism entity, which is an eligible, I think in that context would be an eligible expenditure. But it's for individual tourism events, staff time is one that draws the ire pretty fast for somebody wanting to pick on things, so.
But staff time from a tourism entity, not staff time for Parks and Rec, but I mean like,
No, well, I mean, just think about
It's a-
administratively, okay, you
Yeah.
can do that, but then how we have to track that, how we have to monitor that, and how all the extra work of doing that. Putting it in the individual grant contracts, I will not recommend that ever. This
Yeah.
commission can always do that, it's your discretion to do that. I'm just saying from an implementation and administrative standpoint, that's asking for trouble. So I think
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
rather,
no,
if we go
I get it.
forward. If we go forward and we review that as part of the tourism entity contract, if we want to include a dollar figure in there for additional staff time for general operations of the tourism entity, I think that's absolutely something we could take a look at.
I'm looking at the clock, so I
I need to run.
do feel like there is a pending motion on the table.
We had a motion to table, but no second, I believe, for those remaining items. So, okay, there we go, okay. All in favor? Any
I,
opposed? Okay, we will check for a follow-up meeting with everyone then, so.
And I'm not at home right now, but I'll get together with Missy and Neil to try to find a time that we can hash this all out.
Good. All right, thank you, everybody.
Oh, do we have to
Thank
adjourn?
you.
Adjourn.
Well, we have both.
I
we got
move-
both.
I
Yeah,
move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I.
I,
All right,
Thank you.
thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
thanks.